What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esports Cup. It's going to be another best of two, one of Stark's last best of twos, actually. They've been really good about scheduling their teams and scheduling their games and getting them out really quickly. It's going to be between Stark, of course, and Team Alternate Attacks. I'm Mikelorus, going to be your only caster for today, and we have a little bit of a roster shift right now. Alternate Attacks actually running with Screen. You may know him from any number of Russian teams, Screen Squad, most recently Big Red Machine, Moscow 5 from before. Yeah, they had some issues with Sasu, I think, and I'm pretty sure Sasu out Screen in, though, you know, that's hush-hush for right now. Their names are all messed up. They're all tagged properly. I don't know what's going on right now, but everyone on Stark is here. Everyone on Alternate Attacks is here, so full drafts. Don't worry about a thing, guys. And again, best of two. Stark right now not doing too badly in their groups. Just split a series the other day very narrowly with London Conspiracy or Princess Jalopy. And for right now, they are sitting pretty on, I believe, 6 points. Maybe 7. No, it was 6 points. Maybe more than that. I don't know. They're on top of the group, and they're almost done with their games, so they're in a pretty good position. Whereas for Alternate Attacks, they have yet to win any games. Actually, they drew once and they lost once, so they won one game. I believe that was also versus London Conspiracy. So yeah, hopefully with Screen in, they'll be able to get some new life in, and we'll see if it is going to happen in their draft. Winter Wyvern Shadow Fiend going to be picked up by Alternate Attacks. One of the more safer combinations you can grab. I personally think that Queen of Pain might be a little bit better than Shadow Fiend right now, but they are very, very narrow in their differences, at least in what they contribute to the mid lane as far as their lane control is concerned and what they contribute down the line. Shadow Fiend a little bit more scalable, but definitely Queen of Pain with the more burst. Stark can grab the Darkseer as the first pick, don't mind this at all, but the Lion's second pick is definitely a little bit interesting.
Reserve time.
Is a fine hero to grab, third or fourth, is occasionally going to be banned out. You do want to grab a Lion super heavily if you are expecting the enemy side to go for a hero like Ember Spirit, which is still possible for Alternate Attacks right now. Alternate Attacks themselves banning out the Night Stalker and Doom, two heroes that are very frequently picked up in response to an Ember Spirit, or they're good when they're picked up versus an Ember Spirit, let's say. So I guess in that sense, you know, Lion for the disabled is kind of nice. That being said, again, you could get Lion a little bit later. There's no huge need for crowd control up against Winter Wyvern and Shadow Fiend. Sure, the magic damage with Finger of Death and the spike is definitely very nice, but you know, the Lion pick seems kind of mediocre here. It's not too late for them to make it work. Grabbing someone like an Ancient Apparition would make it work really well for Stark, and that might be what they are angling towards. Or an Ember Spirit for themselves, effectively banning out the Lion in that regard. Also, a way to make this hero work in the end, but we'll see if it is able to get any combos down the line. Overall, for Stark, it's a very hidden draft. For Alternate Attacks, they get the Shadow Fiend most likely going to go towards the mid lane. I would expect Screen to be taking up some sort of melee support hero, Undying, possibly to step up the pressure coming out from Alternate Attacks. I've seen him play almost exclusively melee range supports. That's why it's a little bit weird to see him banning out the Spirit Breaker, Night Stalker himself, and Tusk also. I mean, that was banned out by Stark, but still. Screen's hero pool, or at least hero pool where he's very comfortable, is going to be slightly diminished. So Alternate Attacks want to ban out. Disruptor, Broodmother going to be banned out. You know, Broodmother mostly just for the annoyance one, and Darkseer does struggle somewhat up against the Disruptor. Static Storm down the line, of course, but early on that glimpse is killer.
Reserve time.
And Alternate Attacks might want to be playing this a little bit slower. If you look at their bans, like, yeah, they all have ways of initiating on someone like an Ember Spirit or Queen of Pain with the charge or the move forward for Crippling Fear, and that is very annoying. However, all of that being said, it is usually going to be Screen's team to go for a little bit more of the aggressive style, and they're going to ban out the Queen of Pain themselves. It seems like they may want to slow down this game and just try to drag it on for just a little while. With the Shadow Fiend, of course, the scaling is definitely there. Winter Wyvern, same exact thing. And we'll see what Alternate Attacks actually want to grab right now. I mean, their possibilities are almost endless, and it is going to be Undying for, I assume, Screen is going to be grabbing that hero. So maybe they are going to be going for a little bit more of the aggressive style. If you're going to aggressive, the other team, they usually want to fight back as best they can. That's where the Spirit Breaker and the Queen of Pain bans come into play. For Stark, they can grab a Gyrocopter, one of the, probably the most capable carry hero to have on your side if you know that you're going to be fighting early. Does decently well versus the Undying. And partners up really well with the Lion as well. Spike, Hex into Rocket Barrage, that can very easily get some kills. Winter Wyvern Embrace, although it is pretty good and normally just saving your allies, the magic damage coming out from Stark is really high. Like Darkseer Ion Shell, get one or two of those on top of the Embraced hero, and they're probably going to end up losing more HP than they're gaining. Alternatively, just putting the Gyrocopter right there with the rockets and the call down, you can kill off a hero even with that Embrace. So this Winter Wyvern pick, kind of getting hard countered here by the Stark side. Not to mention, of course, Finger of Death. I mean, you're getting away on Shadow Fiend 100 HP, you get Embraced, feeling pretty good. Suddenly Lion blinks in. Yeah, you're not going to be feeling really good after that. Alternate attacks do have a lot of sustain on their side right now, Undying and Winter Wyvern. Though, again, these heroes aren't really well positioned up against what Stark have. Just by sheer brute force aggression, getting a fast mechanism in the Shadow Fiend, getting some sort of additional pushing hero, they can just pressure Stark into a corner and almost completely win a game afterwards. But 50 seconds, we'll see what alternate attacks actually want to pick up right now. Again, they can slow this game down if they really want to. Ember Spirit's still available and is looking actually decent up against Stark. I mean, the line is annoying, but Ember Spirit really resistant to that magic damage of Stark, or at least more resistant than other heroes. And he gets a little bit of help from Undying, and Winter Wyvern really does like those extra seconds of protection. So what's it going to be for alternate? Taking their sweet time. I suppose it is worth noting that Screen, because he has replaced Sasu, is a little bit, let's say, uncomfortable in this environment, or at least hasn't played a ton with these guys. So there may be some miscommunication errors happening, whether in this draft or down the line.
5 seconds.
Hopefully that's not an issue, because you really hate to see that kind of thing happen. Like, miscommunication should not be losing you a game. It should be you lose because you're playing not as well, your draft isn't as good, not because you are new with your teammates. But it's going to be a clockwork here for alternate attacks. Should just be that offlane hero, fairly resistant to the Gyrocopter, and Darkseer and Clockwork about similar in how they behave in lanes. Probably, some of the best offlaners in the game outside of Night Stalker, Doom, and Tusk, all of which are banned out, and I guess to a lesser extent Broodmother. Doesn't look like the Darkseer is going to be getting any aggressive combos. Again, it's usually the Night Stalker, Spirit Breaker, Undying as the big partners with Darkseer, Tusk sometimes. Darkseer alone in the lane is not a big deal. Up against alternate attack supports, there's really not much the Darkseer has to fear here. Like, yeah, Decay is annoying, Winter Wyvern's annoying, but as far as hard crowd control effects, alternate attacks have none. They have none early on. They'll have the Curse later on, they'll have Hookshot early on, and that's fine, but Darkseer's Surge should be keeping himself safe. Most of the time should be keeping the rest of his heroes safe, as Stark actually go for an Invoker right now.
10 seconds.
Invoker's a pretty interesting pickup. Tombstone is pretty easily destroyed by an Invoker's attack speed should he go for a Wex build. Alternatively, if you go for Exhort, having those Forward Spirits to add a little bit more physical damage. Amplifying the Gyrocopter, who's, for the most part, early game magic based. Stark might be looking for a Bane. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure Bane's looking pretty darn good here. Ancient Apparition is going to be kicked out as alternate attacks grab the Husk. Now, as I just said, Stark do have a hell of a lot of magic damage. They have a good amount of lockdown, but as far as answers to this Huskar, it's just the Lion. And Lion is not guaranteed, not even close to being guaranteed, to survive in these fights. So for Stark to look for another support hero, I feel like it almost has to be Bane. You need that pure damage. You get the Sunstrike set up with the Invoker. Invoker probably has the best chance at killing off a Huskar. Cold Snap is so annoying as a Huskar. Oh my god. It's just the worst. But outside of that, you get the Forge Spirits. And those are also... those also do quite a bit of damage. It's not like as directly annoying, because you can still attack at least. But it does get pretty bad. It does get really bad as the Huskar there. But Huskar should be just going towards the safe lane. I don't really see Stark being able to stop him. Darkseer can push the lane out a little bit with those shells. And Huskar really doesn't contribute that much into killing the Darkseer. Still, Surge is going to keep the Stark side very safe up against these slows. But Stark instead grab a Visage. A very interesting way to go when they could have gone for Bane. I suppose Bane is kind of clunky up against the Undying and not that great versus Clock. However, that being said, Visage... Oh, these are not the right things. Let's get rid of this. Boom, we're good to go, guys. We're good to go. Visage has a lot of magical punch, is going to be able to fill the Soul Assumption bar super quickly with a Gyrocopter on his side. But really, I mean, the Familiar's physical damage is kind of nice. The Grave Chill is kind of nice versus the Huskar. You can definitely find much better counters there. Like, even for Stark to go for, like, an Omni Knight or something like that, like, I think even that will be better. They just need some physical or pure way to get through the Huskar, and Visage doesn't have that. I mean, it has some physical from the familiars, but definitely not enough to easily kill him off. So we're just going to wait for everyone to come back in. Again, I'm not really sure what happened to their names, because I moused over them before, and in the lobby, all their names were tagged up properly. But now we're in the game, and they're all off. But let's introduce who's going to be playing what. Supreme is going to be playing the Huskar. This is my soul committed suicide, or Elisash is on the Winter Wyvern. Nisha is on the Clockwork. Screen is going to be handling the Undying with Exotic Deer on the Shadow Fiend. Over towards the Stark side, this one might be a little bit more difficult. This is going to be, well, Nemphy on the Invoker, Valix on the Visage. If my memory serves correctly, then it should be, unless they're, doing some really weird lane swapping stuff. This should be Trixie's Darkseer. Boogie, oh man, I feel so bad for, like, not remembering their icons. That's what I'm trying to go off of right now. Yeah, we got OKCia, who's probably on the Gyrocopter. We got Boogie, who's probably on the Lion. Maybe. Who knows? We never know. Again, their names were tagged up properly in the lobby. I don't really know what happened. By the way, everyone from Stark is here. And they will have to try to outplay this Huskar. Yeah, and Huskar with all this sustain on his side is going to be very difficult to deal with. No Ancient Apparition, that was banned out final phase, and you can embrace the Huskar, get him a truckload of HP. He has some heals for himself with the Inner Vitality. And of course, Soul Rip if needed. I don't really think I've actually seen a Huskar, like, ever cast Inner Vitality on one of his allies. You obviously want to cast it on yourself because it's so much better on yourself, but you can still cast it on your buds. Whether or not that's useful is another question entirely, but Inner Vitality, embracing, like, the Shadow Fiend, he can get back up to full HP in no time flat. Here we go. Everyone's going to load out into their lanes. Looks like it is going to be the Lion, first of all, to place that Observer Ward. Teleported out there. And we'll see if the Clockwork has any sentries. He doesn't, so he's going to be, for the most part, spotted by this Dire Observer. You can see there's like a small dark patch here, but if you see the Clockwork go in and you don't see him leave, well, then I wonder where he is. There's only one place where he can be, right? And bottom lane, it's just going to be the Darkseer, looking to do a very similar thing, probably. He's going to be, again, going up against the Huskar. These lanes from alternate are pretty easily spotted out by Stark. And they should know exactly what they're going up against at this stage. And, I mean, you just look at the draft. What are the possible combinations here from alternate? Not that many. Like, there's only really this laning configuration. I guess you can maybe swap the Shadow Fiend and Huskar. Maybe if you want to do that, but there's no real reason to. The Shadow Fiend versus Invoker matchup, which should be happening, is going to be fairly even for both sides. It's going to be a little better for Invoker scaling to the later stages if he is going to go for Exhort. It looks like he is undecided right now. I mean, you could open up with Null Talisman, still go for those Exhort Orbs. Alternatively, go for the Exhort Wex, like 1 Wex, 2 Exhort, then get some Quas mixed in there as well. It is going to be the Exhort after all. They have the Grave Chill, they have the Spike Impale. Not really a nightmare, let's say, for setting up a Sunstrike, but definitely enough. And the Exhort really does help Invoker, or at least enable Invoker to handle this lane 1v1 versus Exotic Deer. Because later on when Shadow Fiend gets his damage and he gets his raises, you really don't want to be stuck with Wex Orbs. I mean, they're fine if you're going to be roaming around and ganking, but are you really going to gank Clockwork all the time? Are you really going to gank a Huskar all the time with Wex? it is really difficult. This mid lane should, for the most part, just be a farm fest, just a wash. Even with Elisash arriving here with the burn, it's gonna harass Nemphy a little bit and do quite a bit of damage as Winter Wyvern usually does. But that's about it. Even taking a tower shot, so all the damage that he just did almost returned immediately afterwards. Bottom lane, Darkseer is going to be not pushed out of lane again. There is no lethal pressure here towards this Darkseer. So Trixie should be fine to just freely get at least some Ion Shells off. Is gonna have to deal with Decay, which is always very annoying. And Darkseer right now only at 416 max HP is maybe going to struggle should he get hit with 1 or 2 of those Burning Spears. But Trixie, for the most part, shouldn't die here, especially if he has Surge, unless he gets bursted down. Here's 1 spear, here's 2 spears, Screen right on his tail with boots. He has another Decay. This might actually be First Blood right now. 1 more punch, 1 more Decay is all they need, but Screen's going to hold on to it. Oh, he's not going to get burnt down any longer. They needed the Decay a little bit earlier. Screen is not quite fast enough to get that kill, and Darkseer will salve up to full HP. Get some strength back and even more. No help there from his allies, and it will be just him handling the lane. At least he doesn't die right now. Over towards mid, Invoker is falling behind the Shadow Fiend a little bit. Shadow Fiend already has his primary souls up. Of course, that's the help from Elisash. But Nemvi having gone for the pretty standard nowadays Invoker build of mixing in just 1 point of Wex for that additional base damage, so you can last hit and trade hits effectively. Should be looking to at least recover in this lane and at least equalize this this mid lane. In the meantime, up towards top lane, Nisha. The Clockwork is going to be fearful for his life to some degree. He's sitting right over an observe ward right now, and it looks like he didn't block out anything. I don't really know why the sentry is here, but he really does have to be careful. If the gyrocopter gets a little bit too close, can very easily get that kill with just a spike into Soul Assumption to Rocket Barrage. A hell of a lot of damage, and as tanky as Clockwork is, you really need to get the cogs off beforehand, otherwise you're just going to die. If you get the cogs off beforehand, you keep yourself safe for the gyrocopter. You'll survive 9 times out of 10 afterwards, but it's not guaranteed all the time. Especially since Nisha is working with no vision right now. If you had an observer, like right here, there's like a 0% chance he dies unless there's smoke involved. But he doesn't, so he'll have to be a little bit careful. Still getting a decent amount of experience. About the same amount of experience as the Darkseer, but Darkseer has to deal with screen 24/7. This Undying is just relentless. He has the boots again, and Darkseer does not. Surge gives you a little bit of movement supremacy over the Undying, but that's about it. And he might be a little bit in trouble right now. Supreme's going to land one spear. He's going to have a chance to land another. It's level 2 with the decay that they've already put on the Darkseer. He's going to jump his illusion into gear, but he's going to run right into the Winter Wyvern. First blood is here, and it's going to be on Trixie. Who's going to grab it? Looks like they want to give it to the Huskar, and they'll grab it with the Huskar as well. Supreme is going to grab first blood by killing off Trixie. However, up towards the top lane, Nisha. He's going to pop the cogs, push back the gyrocopter. Still has to deal with Valix. A couple more right clicks, no soul assumption. At least he's not going to pop it right now. It's pointless. So it looks like Nisha is going to run into Nemphy. However, Cold Snap now being invoked up. Will that be enough damage? Needs to hit up the hill, but he's going to miss. That would have been a kill, I think. 25% chance to live, and the Clockwork rolls lucky. Now Exotic Deer is here to help back him up. Nisha's salving up in the meantime. Doesn't have any battery assault, so not really a potent hero as far as killing off a hero like Invoker. But the end result is that alternate, well, they're actively winning the bottom lane, not keeping the Darkseer out of experience range, but guaranteeing farm for the Huskar and getting a kill in the Darkseer is certainly not hurting. And over towards mid, Nemphy should have gotten that kill on Nisha, but the Clockwork will survive. Can't easily return to this lane, because again, the kill power is so vast here from Stark, but oh, they're going to jump in for the Invoker and kill him off. My bad, guys, my bad. Exotic Deer going to claim that one. Gonna check some things real fast in the background. Looks like we are a-okay on the stream side. Again, when it's just me here, guys, I have to check everything and make sure that the stream is working just fine, because no one's here to speak and give me a couple of seconds to check that on the sidelines. Nisha though, caught out the top lane this time. He does get the cogs up. Sunstrike is gonna land. Right clicks. Valix has no mana for a soul assumption. Now does. Gonna Chow to Mango will get the kill. Just enough damage to kill off the Clockwork. And Clockwork, I mean, he's a pretty good hero to have with Invoker, but it's also not the hero that you want to have against Invoker either. Cogs going up on the map puts those, like, little green boxes or whatever on the map, and it's very easy for Invoker to see that, even if he's not listening to his allies, which he should be. But a very easy Sunstrike participation there for the Invoker. Killing off the Clockwork. Right now, bottom lane actually being pressured pretty hard. Huskar leading the way, net worth, Shadow Fiend not too far away. They're going to dive towards Darkseer, and then Splinter Blast. Elisash going to get another kill, as Trixie is just disrespecting this Winter Wyvern. He should have known that the Winter Wyvern was still there. Just saw them. And Supreme, he's able to dive in, but over towards mid lane now. Cold Snap onto Exotic Deer. Valix, Soul Assumption, not charged up fully. Soul Rip is there. Exotic Deer will live. And now Scream with the zombie is going to chase out Valix and Nemphy. It's only 2 zombies apiece, and it looks like Screen shouldn't be able to get any kills here. But still protecting the Shadow Fiend, making sure that he stays close to the top of the net worth chart of the utmost importance. Gyrocopter, he's getting some decent CS, but Invoker really isn't. Net worth is nowhere really close to that of the Shadow Fiend. Don't really know if he's been clearing out any stacks. Doesn't seem like he has been, but he's just naturally lasting a little bit more comfortably than Nemphy. Nemphy's only gotten 1 Sunstrike involvement. You would expect him to be going for a little bit more, but Lion just can't find angles onto this Clockwork up on the top lane, which kind of sucks. But hey, once he does, Spike, Hex, Sunstrike, Rocket Barrage, soon Call Down, so that Cogs won't even keep you safe as a Clockwork. I would expect the Invoker to be getting some recovery farm, and at the very least, he should be going for Hanamitis. His Courage is going to be delivering his bottle, but yeah, Hannah Midas on mid lane Invoker, mid lane Exhort Invoker especially, should be coming down the line. Not much that Alternate could do to gank him yet. Clockwork only level 4. Should they have the hook shot? Yeah, going for Nemphy is possible as long as they have True Sight to kind of deny out that Ghost Walk. Even with Ghost Walk, like he's gone for a Battery Assault build. They do have the raises. They could kill him even though he's invis. But this Huskar is something that Stark are kind of ignoring right now. They don't really have any great answers to this Huskar. Physical right click coming mostly from the Invoker. Damage mostly from the Sunstrike. But if you miss a Sunstrike, and it's very easy to do so, Supreme's just going to walk all over you. He already has the armlet completed. Probably just looking for upgraded boots, maybe a Helm of the Dominator next. But now is about the time when Alternate, not quite yet. Once they get level 6 in the Clockwork, then is about the time when Alternate are going to look to step with pressure in a huge way. And Stark really won't be ready for that. They're going to try to go for top. Nisha is hexed up. Spike is there. Sunstrike as well as the call down. The cogs are going to go up, but it's a little bit too late. Gyrocopter is going to be trapped in the cogs. Supreme is going to dive right in. The Lion doesn't have any more disables, and Supreme just with a couple right clicks, not even turning on the spears, look at the kill on the Gyrocopter. In a 1-for-1 trade, Supreme is just that dangerous right now. Assuming he doesn't die to any of these creeps, and he won't. He's going to be able to walk back and heal himself quite a bit with his Inner Vitality on level 1. Not a great trade for Stark right now. Seems like it kind of got blindsided. They're going to Sunstrike up towards top, miss. The Huskar will live. They were kind of blindsided by this Huskar pick. Like, it's something that you always have to keep in the back of your mind. If we don't have enough pure damage, if we don't have enough physical damage, we might just instantly lose the game up against this hero. And it is definitely not at that point just yet. But it is definitely getting to a stage where they're going to be at their real testing point. Can they handle this Huskar even without having much pure damage or even much physical damage? Again, a lot of that is going to be up to Nemphy to land his proper skills. Sunstrike, Alacrity, and Cold Snap going to be the big ones. And I guess Deafening Blast later on, but for right now, Deafening Blast is kind of mediocre. And Cold Snap with Ion Shell, not bad. Cold Snap with Battery Assault is also pretty darn good. And there are options here for Stark, but it just doesn't seem like they're coming up quite quickly enough. I guess the great thing is that they have effectively shut this Clockwork out of lane, or at least slowed him down by a really substantial amount. Nisha not having his hook shot means that Alternate, they really can't get together and push just yet. Although their other tools are coming together very nicely. As I said, the Huskar closing down that Helm of the Dominator. Should have that one probably soon. I would assume he's just going to complete that Helm of the Dominator. The armor is so sweet on the Huskar. And that Helm of Iron Will. Yeah, you could grab a nice creep or whatever, but that's secondary to the armor almost, it seems. And they have the mech on the Shadow Fiend, a little bit more armor for the team. And of course that burst heal. And then once they get the hook shot, they'll be ready to fight. They should also, well, they will also have the Winter's Curse. So all the puzzle pieces are coming together. Immediately can drop the curse onto the Lion. Here comes the dive in for Supreme. Onto the creep. One spear, a couple more Arctic Burn shots, and they will kill off the Lion. Who does grab Finger of Death, but is unable to drop it on the Huskar. Here comes Nemphy, however. Sunstrike onto Supreme. Will barely miss. Supreme now is able to armlet toggle at least a little bit of away from Nemphy. Flare's going to come, and Supreme's going to dive right back in towards the Invoker. He's fast, but he's not fast enough. Screen's going to cut him off with the Decay, but Huskar gets the kill in the end. Stark are walking one by one into this grinder that is Huskar. I don't even know if Stark can actually recover from this. Like, it's only 10 minutes in, it's only a 4-kill lead, but the towers are going to start to fall. They already are getting really active with Supreme 3-0-2. And Nisha up towards top lane, he's sleeping. But Felix is not getting help from the Gyrocopter, so it's just a little bit of right-click harassment, even spending a lot of mana to do so with the chill. And not super expensive, only 100, but still, it's not something you want to just throw away willy-nilly. First tower to fall for Alternate, and they should be looking for kills or towers or both at this stage. Supreme does have that Helm of the Dominator now up. The Clockwork now has the hook shot up. Still would like more levels, since he is going for the rocket build. Not exactly super useful if he does land a hook shot, unless there's a Shadow Fiend there. They don't know the Shadow Fiend is invis. If they land a hook shot, and if Shadow Fiend's right nearby, Requiem is available. Although the cogs don't come up, they're going to try to bait him in. Battery Assault is there. Exotic Deer not showing himself just yet. He should know, however, the Gyrocopter knows that someone's here. One raise, two raise, second one going to miss. Flare also not going to do it. Very surprising to see Nisha hook shot, but not put up the cogs. I guess if you do, I guess run the risk of just getting buzzed down by the guns, the rocket barrage, and the call down. So he kind of was fearful for his life there, so fair enough. But with the mech on the Shadow Fiend, they probably could have gotten that trade. They're going to go for the tower straight anyway. Huskar is going to arrive in the mid lane, try to go for this defense, and by himself, seems bold, but he actually can get away with it. Because he is so scary at this stage with the armlet. As long as he turns it on and toggles it properly, he'll force everyone else from Stark out. In the meantime, Shadow Fiend up towards top lane. Gonna be able to blow up the creep wave. 2 raises, easy peasy. And now just apply, 150 damage worth of damage on this tower. Where's the response from Stark? It is right around the corner in the form of Trixie, but he's gonna run straight into Screen, who's gonna look to dive onto Ice Cube. Tombstone drops, 1 raise to connect, 2nd raise as well as the cog bump back. They annihilate the gyrocopter. They also see the Darkseer, but Splinter Blast, though it may land, not quite enough follow-up there unless Supreme comes in. He's going to go straight for the Lion in the back lines, however. Lion has a Finger of Death and a Hex. Sunstrike is down to Supreme, will kill him off. Huskar diving way too deep, yet still gets the Lion. They drop a Wall of Illusion on that as well. Tower hasn't dropped just yet. Exotic Deer has enough mana now for a mech. And they can, in theory, continue to fight this one out. Especially since Nisha is right around the corner still with another hookshot available. Stark should just concede this. It is still a 2-for-1. They do kill off the Huskar, and that's nice, but Huskar at this point has secondary farm to Exotic Deer, Shadow Fiend, and Valix. Oh, if he's spotted at all, he will just die. Looks like they won't quite see him. But second tower to fall, and Stark have yet to claim any of their own. Again, that's the best case scenario for them. The Huskar gets a little bit over-eager, jumps in into a Hex, into a Spike, into a Sunstrike. Any other situation, I don't really see this Huskar dying, at least not easily. I mean, Stark have the heroes necessary to bring him low. But they don't really have the final death blow unless it's a Sunstrike or a Finger of Death, and it's somehow enough damage. And Visage doesn't even have level 6 yet. Valix has not been having a great time in this top lane as far as experience income is concerned. I guess, oh, and dying, actually, no, he's level 7. I looked over here, I'm like, oh, he doesn't have his ultimate. But no, he doesn't want his ultimate. He's going to smoke up with his squad instead, and maybe look towards Roche. Do they have any Medallion? That'll be such a cost-effective item right now. They have 1 Presence of the Dark Lord. That's not good enough, so they're not going to look for Roshan. They're going to look for kills. Or the stack. It's not that big. It's worth their time to take, obviously, but it's probably not as good as what they would like. Shadow Fiend, calm down, please. They're waiting for some poor sucker to defend this mid lane. Elisash is already pushing that one out, but is getting pushed back even further because of this Ion Shell. Look at this one Ion Shell just being an absolute dick. Supreme's gonna charge forward with a Dark Troll Summoner. They see Trixie, Net, gonna cancel out that Surge. Now here comes the Life Break. He's still surged for a little while longer. Tombstone is deployed super deep. Exotic Deer with long range raise. Not quite gonna do it. Hookshot in, however, that might do it. Nisha's gonna close right, and Battery Assault is there. Surge, not gonna happen for the Darkseer. Nisha gets an extendo arm kill. Here comes the Gyrocopter right around the corner. Oh, the Clockwork's gonna dodge him. The tower does fall over in mid. Again, no trades in sight for the Stark side. Nemphy gonna do what he can over towards the middle lane, but definitely not gonna cut it. They will see the Stark side go into the Roche Pit. Poor Hellbear is gonna get life broken and will roast. Rip Hellbear. Right into the Roche Pit they're gonna go. They have a Dark Troll Summoner who has a zombie. Skeleton, rather. Sorry, I'm sure skeletons are very sensitive about being skeletons, not zombies. They see the familiars. Oh, but familiar's gonna get in there too long and will fall. Stark at this point need all the physical damage they can get, and that's, first of all, 100 gold for the Shadow Fiend. That's not bad, but second of all, they just need this familiar there for the stun, there for the damage. Oh, and no, they'll lose another one. He just summoned them. Oh, this Visage is going to be next to useless in this fight. Are they even going to want to go for this fight? Call down angle certainly is here from the Gyrocopter. Will land onto 3, but the curse is going to drop on him, and 2's down now into the high ground. The Gyrocopter needs to fall back right now. Nice spike from this line. They get the Sunstrike onto Nisha. They bring down the Clockwork. Finger Death on the screen. He's still surviving, though, with the Flesh Golem heal. They'll jump forward now onto the Darkseer, who's going to disconnect and die afterwards. Oh, I mean, I don't really know if that disconnect really mattered. Didn't get the vacuum off, but they wouldn't have been able to win a fight even with that. It's a Roshan down for alternate. They take the Darkseer, they take the Lion. They lose their Clockwork. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Seems like we might be having some lag issues. And at least for Stark's case, they have to hope that Invoker isn't the one with the lag, because he needs to be landing those Sunstrikes, not in the Clockwork. Onto the Huskar. Anything else just not good enough. The Huskar is in full effect right now, and Stark are very, very far behind. This is just what happens with Huskar. I mean, the longer we go in this patch, the less frequently we're going to see games like this, where a team just grabs a Huskar and instantly wins the game because of it. But it almost seems like it's out of the reach of Stark at this point. Like, they have had no answers to this Huskar, and they will have no answers to this Huskar. There's no Heaven's Halberd coming up at anyone from the Stark side. There's a Medallion, which is, I guess, kind of nice if they're going to right-click them down. They don't even have that great right-clickers. This is a really tough spot for a Stark to be in. Even, like, Screen, the Undying, who was just on the harassment role in the lane, has already had a point booster. So he's tanky, right? But he's also going to go for that Ags. So swinging Stark's health down by 10. gaining 10, or not health by 10.
Is under attack.
Oh no, 10 health. What a disaster. Taking out 10 of their
Radiant's
strength.
bottom tower
Gaining 10
has
for the
fallen.
Undying. It's some serious value there. Looking for defense now, perhaps onto the mid lane, tier 1. Nisha has not a super clear angle here. Flare, hook shot in. He has level 2 battery assault plus rocket barrage. Ice Cube cannot pop his rockets right now. Battery assault. Jesus, battery assault, rocket barrage. All the same skills to me. They do a lot of damage, right? Technology these days. Very easy kill on the gyrocopter. Now, it does seem like Stark are kind of like not all on the same page, but at the same time, what page should they be on? There is no correct page here from Stark. This is a draft issue from Stark. I really don't like to use the word outdrafted, because that implies that one team with the heroes they've selected were guaranteed to win the game from the get-go. And you could draft some weird things and look kind of weak, but perform really well with it. But Stark, this is a pure and simple case of them being outdrafted. Like, they have no answer to this Huskar at all. Now they're just going to bust up the high ground. Easy tier 3. Lion's got to be careful not to get too close. Splinter Blast can do some pretty decent chip damage. Curse now onto Trixie. They're just going to throw a couple spears. One raise, and the Dark is immediately going to fall. Now Screen's going to dive into the back lines. Tombstone's already deployed. He's just going to drive Nemphy and Valix back. The cooldown's going to do some serious damage from the gyrocopter, but returning hell of a lot by Supreme. Hookshot in as well. They're going to crush the gyro. Now into Nemphy under his tier 4s. They'll bring him down as well. Nisha with the blade mail pops. Supreme has the Aegis. He's going to get embraced. Spike not quite going to do it. He has the heal on himself as well. Here comes the gyrocopter. Forced to buy out, but he's just not doing enough damage at this point. The Rax is still in trouble. They don't have the Undying right now. Mechanism cooldown in 45 seconds. So they are not going to get any heals here. But does it really matter? Supreme sells the Aegis. Nisha has no hookshot, but they've already taken Rax's 18 minutes in. Lion's going to back off, will survive. Going to try to put some harassment damage into this Winter Wyvern, but that's going to be almost insignificant. It's 18 minutes in, they've taken Rax's, and not only that, they still have the Aegis. They're going to go for more. I'd like to see Nisha teleport back right now so that he can start walking back into this lane. Be at full HP for his next initiation. But Stark have done absolutely nothing to slow down Alternate. They focused everything they have into Screen, and that's nice and everything, but Screen is now going to return to this fight with Flesh Golem, with Tombstone, and only 400 gold away from having his Aghanim Scepter, so he's not going to get slowed down at all by that death. Now, Nisha's actually going to get back up to full, I think, because of the Embrace and the Urns from Winter Wyvern. They get a BKB delivered mid-fight. Supreme is going to buy a 3,000 gold worth of item. It's Reaver. He has Satanic completed. It's 19 minutes in, he has Satanic. Are you kidding me, guys? Are you kidding me right now? This is a disgusting amount of gold on the Huskar. The Clockwork has more gold than the mid-invoker. The Gyrocopter doesn't have anything. This is probably going to be a secondary set of Raxes. Stark need literally a 5-man vacuum wall with a Meteor Deafening Blast on top. Anything else isn't going to cut it. But it's impossible right now. Like, you just cannot land that vacuum. Supreme is happily tanking the tower right now. Has Inner Vitality pretty much always up. He has a chance to kill off Trixie or anyone here if they get too close. Call down is going to come down onto 3, focusing down on God Tier. Nice vacuum back with the Deafening Blast. Is this the team fight that they need? Curse, though, going to drop, and now there's a big Requiem. Everyone's going to get healed up by Alternate. Stark have lost 3. They're going to lose Nemphy and Valix afterwards. They get Nisha, but it's too little, too late. Alternate crushed their way through Stark. 20-minute victory. Oh, baby. That was an amazing team fight from Stark. That was as good as it gets. You get the 3-man call down setup already. You vacuum everyone back into a wall, Deafening Blast Meteor. And it wasn't enough because they're just so far behind. BKB Requiem, Huskar pops Satanic, Undying throws his heals, Winter Wyvern throws her heals, and Alternate are going to win pre-20 minutes. Guys, this game started 30 minutes ago. It was supposed to start at, I'm just going to use Eastern Standard Time, 1 Eastern Standard Time, or 13, I guess, Eastern Standard Time. We're at now 13:30. The draft in the game, it barely lasts any time, but this might be a quick game here for Alternate. Stark, they're going to be grabbing some physical damage next time. You could bet your asses on that. I'm Mikelorus. I've been your only caster for today, and this is a best of 2, so Stark have another chance to get 1 point away from Alternate. But for Alternate, they're going to be pretty happy with that very, very decisive win versus Stark. They do need the points right now. They only have 1, as it seems. They've drawn once. They lost the other one. So I'll be right back for Game 2 between Alternate Attacks and Stark in just a little bit, guys.